told me once, I just want to enjoy my breakfast without feeling like I'm walking a tightrope. That was my father, Thomas, a retired school teacher with a kind heart and, like many men his age, a stubborn streak. He'd survived a mild stroke 2 years earlier. Since then, he started each morning with a row of pills and a silent prayer his blood pressure wouldn't spike again. Hi, I'm Dr. Evelyn Hart. I've spent over 2 decades studying cardiovascular health and helping seniors reclaim their energy and peace of mind. Today, I want to tell you about something simple and surprisingly powerful. It's not a magic pill, it's not a secret supplement, and no, it's not pomegranate juice. It's a deep red liquid you might walk right past in the supermarket, not even knowing it could gently, naturally, and measurably help lower your blood pressure, starting within just a few weeks. Now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like your body was holding you hostage? Like you're trying your best, cutting the salt, walking a bit more, taking your meds on time, and still the numbers creep up. The 130s become 140s, and suddenly you're staring down a lifetime prescription. You're not alone. According to the American Heart Association, nearly half of adults over 50 in the U.S. live with elevated blood pressure, and most don't even feel it. That's why they call it the silent killer. But what if I told you there's a simple drink backed by real clinical science that has helped many older adults reduce their systolic readings by up to 5 points in under a month, and in some cases even more? No gimmicks, no sponsored products, just honest science, and a story that might surprise you. Because this journey isn't just about what you drink, it's about how you take back control of your body in the most gentle, natural way possible. So, whether you're managing hypertension yourself or caring for a loved one who is, I want you to stay with me. In this video, we're going to explore the real reason blood pressure becomes so tricky after 50, the overlooked juice that cardiologists are quietly recommending, how to use it safely and effectively, and a simple habit that can double its benefits without changing your entire life. And I promise, no judgment, no fear tactics, just a warm, evidence-based guide from me to you. Let's begin with the truth about blood pressure and why it can be so difficult to control as we age. She didn't look worried. Her cheeks were rosy. She smiled easily. But when the numbers popped up on the screen, 156/92, I paused. That's stage 2 hypertension. Mrs. Allen had no idea. I feel fine, she told me, surprised. No headaches, no dizziness, just a little tired in the afternoons. And that, right there, is the challenge. High blood pressure doesn't hurt until it does. Let's talk about what's really happening inside the body after 50. As we age, the blood vessels that used to expand and contract with ease become stiffer. It's like going from a soft garden hose to one that's been left out in the sun too long, brittle, unyielding. That stiffness makes it harder for blood to flow, which raises the pressure inside. Then there's endothelial function, a fancy term for how well the inner lining of our arteries works. By age 60, many people have lost up to 70% of their nitric oxide production, a compound that keeps vessels relaxed and open. With less of it, the vessels narrow, tension builds, and the heart has to pump harder. Now add in some salt, a little stress, a few restless nights, maybe one too many frozen dinners, and suddenly you're in a pressure cooker without realizing it. According to the Framingham Heart Study, by age 55,
you have a 90% chance of developing hypertension if you live to 80. That's 9 out of 10 people. It's not because we're doing it wrong, it's just how the body changes. But the real danger, most seniors don't feel the symptoms. No pain, no pulsing in the temples, no dramatic signs. That's why it's often called the silent killer. Over time, unchecked high blood pressure damages the arteries. It increases the risk of heart attacks, stroke, kidney failure, vision loss, cognitive decline. Even mild elevations, like 135/85, can double your risk of heart disease compared to someone with normal pressure. Let me tell you about James, 72, a retired firefighter. When I met him, he was frustrated. "I used to run into burning buildings," he said. "Now I can't climb a flight of stairs without checking my pulse." But what really weighed on him was the feeling that he'd lost control of his body. That's something I hear a lot. And here's the hard part. Even when people do all the right things, eat better, walk daily, take their meds, their numbers sometimes still creep up. That's because the body after 60 doesn't respond like it used to. It needs a different kind of support, one that's gentle, natural, and rooted in how the aging cardiovascular system works. Yes, medications work, and in many cases they're essential. But what if, alongside meds, there were safe, proven dietary shifts that could help ease the pressure without side effects? That's what I began exploring in my own family, and the answer came from an unexpected place, a bottle of juice with a rich, earthy color and a surprising amount of science behind it. But before we get to that, here's the key takeaway. If you're over 50 and living with high blood pressure, it's not your fault. You're not lazy, you're not broken. Your body is asking for a different kind of care. And in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what that care might look like, starting with the most overlooked juice on the shelf and why cardiologists are quietly recommending it.
That was Frank, a former postal worker who'd spent most of his adult life walking 10 miles a day. Retired now, and with a slower pace of life, his blood pressure had crept up to 150/88. When his son brought home a bottle of beetroot juice, Frank raised an eyebrow. Beets? Really? But he gave it a try. 2 months later, his doctor called his numbers textbook perfect. Let's talk about why. Beetroot juice, that deep crimson liquid, may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of heart health, but in recent years, it's become a quiet favorite among cardiovascular researchers. Why? Because it's rich in inorganic nitrates, a natural compound that your body converts into nitric oxide, or NO. Remember nitric oxide? That's the molecule that helps relax and widen blood vessels, improving blood flow and reducing blood pressure. As we age, our ability to produce nitric oxide declines significantly. That's part of why blood vessels become less flexible. But consuming dietary nitrates, like those in beets, can give your body the boost it needs. One of the most compelling studies comes from Queen Mary University in London, published in the Journal of Hypertension in 2021. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, participants with high blood pressure were given 250 milliliters of nitrate-rich beetroot juice daily for 4 weeks. The result? An average reduction of 5 to 8 millimeters in systolic blood pressure. Improved endothelial function, meaning better blood vessel flexibility. No adverse effects. That's on par with what some mild medications achieve, but without the side effects. Another 2022 study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association followed older adults over 60 who drank 70 milliliters of concentrated beetroot juice daily for 2 weeks. It found
reduced systolic and diastolic pressure, better oxygen delivery to the brain, enhanced mobility in walking tests. These aren't fringe studies. These are peer-reviewed, gold standard trials. Let me tell you about Gloria, 74, who joined one of our clinical workshops. She started drinking 150 milliliters of beetroot juice every morning, chilled with a splash of lemon to cut the earthy taste. Her blood pressure dropped from 142/89 to 127/78 in 3 weeks. But what really moved her, she said, "I can sleep better, and I don't wake up with that tight feeling in my chest anymore." She didn't change anything else, just added the juice. That's the beauty of this. It's simple, it's gentle, and it works. Yes, pomegranate juice has heart benefits too. So does grape juice, and even tart cherry. But beetroot juice works differently. It's not about antioxidants, it's about vascular dilation. Whereas pomegranate might help reduce oxidative stress, beet juice goes directly to the mechanics of blood pressure, helping vessels widen so the heart doesn't have to push as hard. And unlike some fruit juices, beet juice doesn't spike blood sugar. The glycemic load is low, and most commercial products are unsweetened. Of course, beet juice isn't for everyone. Some people might experience a pink or red tint in their urine, harmless but surprising. Mild stomach upset if consumed too quickly or on an empty stomach. A drop in blood pressure that may feel dizzying if you're already on medication. That's why I always recommend starting low and slow. More on that in the next part. And always talk to your healthcare provider before making changes, especially if you're on antihypertensive drugs. This isn't just about juice. It's about giving your body tools it can actually use at this stage of life. Beetroot juice is not a miracle cure, but for many, it's a supportive ally, a natural, scientifically backed way to nudge those numbers down, one glass at a time. So now that you know what to drink, in the next part, I'll show you how to drink it safely, effectively, and with long-term consistency. Because the key isn't just knowing, it's doing it right for your body.
This is Judith. She's 73, retired from a career in public health. For years, her blood pressure hovered around 145/85. Not alarming, but not ideal. When she started drinking beetroot juice, she wanted to make sure she did it right. So she treated it like a ritual. 1 glass, same time every day, and a quiet 10 minutes to breathe. Within a month, her readings dipped into the 120s, and more importantly, she felt calm and in control. Let's talk about how you can do the same. Most of the clinical studies that showed significant results used 70 to 250 milliliters of beetroot juice per day. That's about 2 to 8 ounces. Here's what I recommend for seniors, especially if you're just starting. Begin with 2 to 3 ounces a day, about 60 to 90 milliliters. Drink it in the morning, ideally 30 to 45 minutes after breakfast. Observe your body, energy, digestion, dizziness, or any lightheadedness. If you tolerate it well, you can slowly increase to 5 to 6 ounces, around 150 milliliters, which is the sweet spot for most older adults. Pro tip, chill the juice. Add a squeeze of lemon or a splash of apple juice if the earthy taste is too strong. Because beetroot juice can interact with blood pressure medications, it's essential to track your numbers. I suggest using a simple logbook or a digital BP monitor app to check morning readings before drinking the juice, weekly averages, any significant dips below 110 systolic, which could mean it's working a little too well alongside your meds,
And always, always talk to your primary care provider before adjusting your medication. Beet juice is a supportive tool, not a replacement. Most people tolerate beet juice very well, but a few things can catch you off guard. Pink or red urine or stools, harmless, common, and known as beeturia. Stomach upset or bloating, usually due to drinking too much too fast. Dizziness or fatigue, especially if you're already on BP-lowering drugs. To prevent this, never drink it on an empty stomach. Don't combine it with other nitrate-rich supplements like L-arginine without guidance. Start small and only increase if you feel steady. Not all beet juices are created equal. Look for 100% pure beetroot juice, organic if possible. No added sugar or fruit blends. These can spike blood sugar. Cold-pressed or vacuum-sealed brands tend to preserve more nutrients. Some reliable U.S. brands include Lakewood Organic, Beet It Concentrate, and Biata Beet Juice. You can also make your own with a juicer, but be mindful. Raw beet juice is potent. Always dilute it with water or mix it with a bit of apple or carrot juice to balance taste and intensity. Here's a daily rhythm many of my senior patients follow. 7 a.m., light breakfast, oatmeal, eggs, fruit. 7:45 a.m., 3 to 4 ounces of chilled beet juice. 8 a.m., 10 minutes of walking or light stretching. 10 a.m., first BP check of the day. It's like a reset button, one of them told me. And that consistency builds trust in the juice and in yourself. Bill, 76, never liked the taste. He said, "Tastes like dirt," with a chuckle. So we found a workaround. He started blending 2 ounces of beetroot juice with herbal hibiscus tea and a slice of ginger. He called it his beet tea. And it worked. His numbers dropped from 148 by 90 to 126 by 76 within 6 weeks. This isn't about forcing something that doesn't suit you. It's about finding a version that fits into your life, gently and sustainably. No worries. Beetroot juice isn't a medication, it's a support system. Missing a day won't undo your progress, but consistency matters because nitric oxide effects wear off after about 24 to 38 hours. Try to build it into your morning flow. Breakfast, juice, movement. Keep it simple. Make it joyful. By now, you know the science behind beetroot juice, how to use it safely, how to make it part of your routine. But what if I told you that combining it with one small habit could double the benefits? That's exactly what we'll talk about next. Because when juice meets movement, even just a walk around the block, your blood vessels respond like they're 20 years younger. Let's explore that in the next section.
Judith didn't just stop at drinking beet juice. Every morning after her glass, she'd lace up her shoes, clip on her walking poles, and stroll the same half-mile path she'd followed for years. It was simple, gentle, and familiar. But over time, this small addition, just 15 minutes of movement, made a world of difference. Let's go back to nitric oxide, the magic molecule produced when we consume dietary nitrates, like beetroot juice. This compound helps dilate your blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. But guess what else boosts nitric oxide? Exercise. When you move your body, even with light, rhythmic activity like walking, your muscles send signals that encourage more nitric oxide release, better oxygen uptake, and improved circulation. That means lower blood pressure, better energy, healthier arteries, faster healing in tissues,
improved mood and sleep quality. So when you combine beetroot juice plus light physical activity, you're reinforcing the same vascular pathways. It's like sending two helpful messages to your heart and vessels at the same time, and the body listens. A 2020 study from the American Heart Association's Journal of Hypertension tracked older adults over 65 who drank 70 milliliters of beetroot juice daily, added 20 minutes of moderate walking 5 times per week. After 6 weeks, they showed 11 mmHg drop in systolic blood pressure compared to 4 millimeters of mercury in the juice-only group, better endothelial function, increased flow-mediated dilation, a marker of arterial flexibility, and improved mood and sleep quality. Another study from University of Exeter found that combining beetroot juice with light aerobic activity improved mitochondrial efficiency in older muscles, meaning the body used oxygen more efficiently, leading to less fatigue and better stamina. Paul, 70, a retired civil engineer, began walking daily around his backyard garden after breakfast. At first, just 10 minutes, then 15. Eventually, he added a short climb up his neighborhood hill. He called it his loop. Combined with 4 ounces of beetroot juice each morning, his blood pressure dropped from 152/88 to 124/76 in 5 weeks. But Paul said something I'll never forget. He said, "It's not just the numbers. I feel like I'm doing something kind for myself every day." You don't need to hit the gym. You don't need to sweat buckets. Here are gentle, safe, and senior-friendly movements that work beautifully with beet juice. Walking, 15 to 30 minutes, on a flat path, in a park, or on a treadmill. Chair yoga, gentle stretches, breath work, and spinal mobility. Water aerobics, light resistance without joint strain. Tai Chi or Qigong, improves circulation, balance, and calm. Standing leg lifts and arm circles, a 10-minute morning routine at home. Timing tip: do your light activity within 30 to 90 minutes of drinking beetroot juice. That's when nitric oxide levels peak. This combination is especially powerful in the morning when blood pressure tends to be naturally higher. Here's a sample routine many of my older patients follow. 7:30 a.m., breakfast, protein plus whole grains. 8 a.m., drink 4 ounces of beetroot juice. 8:15 a.m., gentle walk or chair yoga, 10 to 20 minutes. 9 a.m., BP check and note any changes. Some even use this time for gratitude journaling or prayer to reduce emotional stress, another big contributor to blood pressure spikes. This isn't just a habit, it becomes a ritual, one that feels grounding and empowering. If walking isn't possible due to joint issues, fatigue, or disability, don't worry. Deep breathing, seated leg lifts, or resistance band exercises can still help. Even gentle upper body movements while seated, paired with slow, intentional breathing, can stimulate circulation and activate nitric oxide pathways. Here's a simple sequence you can try. Sit upright in a sturdy chair. Inhale deeply for 4 counts, exhale for 6. While breathing, rotate your shoulders, lift your arms overhead, or make slow circles with your wrists and ankles. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes after drinking beetroot juice. Studies show that paced breathing alone can reduce systolic blood pressure by 3 to 5 millimeters of mercury when practiced regularly. So even if mobility is limited, there's still a way to participate. One of the hardest parts about living with high blood pressure is feeling like you're at the mercy of the numbers. But this small, daily combination, a glass of beetroot juice and a few minutes of movement, is something you control. It's not expensive. It doesn't take an hour. It doesn't require a prescription. It's just a quiet moment of care you give yourself, and your heart responds. As one of my patients, Carol, 68, said, "It's the first time I've felt hopeful in years, like my body still knows how to heal if I just give it the right tools."
Remember Thomas, that man in the juice aisle, quietly searching for something to trust? He's not just my father. He's every man, every woman who's ever looked at a blood pressure reading and felt overwhelmed. He used to say, "I don't need to be young again. I just want to feel steady." And I think that's what we all want. Not to turn back the clock, but to walk forward with confidence. Beetroot juice won't solve everything. It won't erase stress or rebuild stiff arteries overnight. But what it can do, what I've seen it do, is open a door to gentler mornings, to quiet routines that bring the numbers down and the spirits up, to feeling, maybe for the first time in years, like you're no longer fighting against your body, but working with it. There's a woman named Grace, 79 years old, lives alone, loves crossword puzzles. She started drinking beet juice because her daughter sent her this very video. 3 weeks in, she emailed me one line. "I finally feel like I have something simple that works. Not fancy, not complicated, just something that works." That's the heart of it. You don't need a revolution. You just need a rhythm, one that honors where you are right now and gently helps you move forward. If this video spoke to you, if you saw yourself in these stories, if your heart whispered, "Maybe this could help me too," then I want to invite you to try it. Not as a cure, not as a trend, but as a daily gift to your heart. And maybe, just maybe, it becomes a doorway back to ease, back to sleep, back to walking without worry. If you found this helpful, would you do one small thing? Share this video with someone you love, someone who's quietly struggling with their numbers, someone who might need a gentle nudge towards something natural and hopeful. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. This channel is your space, a place for trustworthy, science-backed wellness made especially for people over 50. We don't do hype, we do heart. And we're here for you every step of the way. You're not fragile. You're not broken. You are, in every way, capable of healing. Sometimes it starts with something as simple as a glass of beetroot juice and the decision to care deeply and consistently for the life you still have ahead. With warmth and science, Dr. Evelyn Hart, Seniors Wellness Hub.